Dear students, I extend a very hearty welcome to all of you to EPG Pathshala. Myself, Professor Sampath Kumar Swai, teaching as a professor at Department of Tourism Management at Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh. Today, I am going to give a presentation on a topic, concepts of demand and supply in tourism. After completing this module, students will be able to understand what the concept of demand in tourism is, understand what the concept of supply in tourism is, examine how demand and supply are interconnected, understand why demand has to be matched with supply, know how to match demand with supply. Introduction. A tourist has been defined by Poon 2005 as a person who travels to a place other than that of her usual place of residence for a period of less than a year and whose purpose of travel is for activities originating from the place visited. This definition suggests that tourists are visitors who need a home away from home. They visit tourist destinations with motivations that trigger demand. Thus, tourist activities form the basis of the concept of tourism demand. Tourist demand is a concept defined by economists as the quantity of a product or service that tourists are willing to purchase at a particular price from among a range of prices during a particular period of time. Thus, there is at any particular point in time a definite relationship between market price and quantity of demand. It is important to understand the concept of tourism demand for those operating within the tourist industry for various reasons. Demand data indicates how many tourists visited a particular place, what transport they use, the duration of their stay, the type of accommodations they use, and how much they spend. There are various measures of demand and techniques for making future demand forecast. Such estimates of demand are important to plan future tourism developments, provide for financing, estimate sales and revenue accruals from tourism projects, analyze financial feasibility of tourism projects and put in place marketing, sales promotional programs that are focused on increasing demand. Along with the concept of demand is that of supply. Supply refers to all the activities, services and businesses that deliver tourism experiences. The concept of supply, its quantity and quality determine the success of tourism in an area. Demand is strongly impacted, even limited by supply. Supply aspects must also be considered. When doing demand planning, else it will lead to a false assumption that supply in a particular area must be increased to meet demand, while in reality the increase in supply may be required to another location. Hence, it is also important to examine tourism supply and understand how to match demand with the supply in the tourism industry. Tourist demand. Tourist demand concept is examined in this section. The concept of tourist demand. The concept of demand for travel to a particular place is considered to be a function of propensity to travel and the resistance between origin and destination areas. This relationship is indicated as D is equal to F within bracket propensity comma resistance bracket ends, where D refers to demand. Propensity refers to the person's tendency to travel. This means that propensity is measured in terms of the willingness of the person to travel and the kind of travel experiences that he or she prefers and the kind of tourist locations that are considered. Propensity to travel is determined by person's psychographic profile and motivation to travel. Propensity is also related to the person's socio-economic status. It may be inferred that the propensity to travel is a function of the individual's psychographic and demographic characteristics and is directly related to demand. Resistance refers to the comparative attractiveness of different destinations. Resistance is measured as a function of various variables such as economic and cultural distances, cost of services at a tourist destination, quality of service at a tourist destination, quality of advertising and promotion, seasonality, and is inversely related to demand. These variables are explained in detail as follows. Economic distance. It is related to the time and cost involved in travelling from the place of origin to the tourist destination and back. The greater the economic distance, the more the distance of the tourist destination, and the lower the demand. The converse is also true. If between the origin and destination, if either the travel time or cost can be reduced, corresponding to tourist demand will increase. For example, with the introduction of the jet planes, the time and cost to travel from one place to another has considerably reduced, and this in turn has stimulated demand for travel and tourism services. Cultural distance. It refers to the difference in cultures between the place from where the tourist hails from and the destination area where the tourist wishes to go to. In general, the more the cultural distance, the more the resistance and the less the demand for tourism products and services. However, in some cases, the greater the cultural distance, the less will be the resistance to travel. This is particularly so for allocentric persons who may wish to travel to sample and experience very different cultures. Cost of services. Higher the cost of services at location, the greater the resistance to travel there. Hence, lower will be the demand. This means that just like with all products, an inverse relationship exists between the price of a product or service and the demand for it. Quality of service. The higher the quality of service at a tourist location, the lower will be the resistance to travel to that place, and the higher the demand, though the relationship between quality of service and demand is straightforward. There is a difficulty in the way quality of service is interpreted. This is because quality of service is highly subjective with the perceptions of quality, differing from one tourist to another. Moreover, if a person has no previous experience of travelling to the tourist destination, it is not possible to accurately judge the quality of tourism services. In such cases, tourists choose a location depending on popular perceptions of quality of service. Hence, the parameter of quality of service has important implications in terms of its ability to establish a loyal clientele, which is very important for success in the tourism sector. Hence, a tourist destination must always be projected as a positive and accurate image of quality of service. Seasonality. Seasonality refers to the attractiveness of a particular place at a particular time of the year when tourists most wish to visit. For example, a ski resort will experience high demand during winter months rather than summer months. The resistance to travel to this ski resort will be lowest during winter months. The relationship between propensity, resistance and demand is equal to F within bracket propensity, resistance bracket ends. Propensity depends on psychographics, demographic, that includes socio-economic status and marketing effectiveness, whereas resistance depends on economic distance, cultural distance and cost of tourist services. Quality of service and seasonality. Measuring demand. There are three measures of actual demand. These include tourist arrivals, tourist days, tourist nights and amount spent. Tourist arrivals. The number of people arriving at a tourist destination is a popular measure of tourist demand. Data on tourist arrival is easy to obtain, particularly if tourists arrive through public transport, train, plane or ship. Variations in number of visiting tourists month by month is an important indicator or a rise and fall in demand during the year. However, estimating demand as a measure of tourist arrivals can be erroneous if more tourists arrive privately through their own mode of transport. Tourists are differentiated from excursionists. The former stay in an area for more than 24 hours, while the latter don't stay in an area for more than 24 hours. Excursionists, those who enter a country illegally or those transiting the area en route to other destinations cannot be classified as tourist arrivals and cannot be used to estimate tourist demand. Tourist days / tourist nights. The demand for a tourist location can also be measured in terms of the days or nights the tourists spend in a location. In fact, tourist days or nights are a far more accurate estimation of tourism demand than the number of tourist arrivals. The decision to spend a day or a night will depend on the nature of the tourist location. Public parks and beaches will attract day tourists, while heritage locations with hotels and other accommodations will attract night visitors. To calculate the number of tourist days, the number of tourists visiting is multiplied by their average duration of stay as indicated by the formula. Demand represents D is equal to number of visitors multiplied by average number of days or nights at tourist destination. From tourist day or night day data, an estimate of likely expenditures can also be made. Data on tourist days can be particularly beneficial to tourist officials who plan public facilities and infrastructure for tourists, including parking, recreation and utilities. Similarly, private developers who wish to establish new hotels, accommodations or service apartments will need tourist night data among spent. It is the most efficient, impressive and effective measure of tourism demand. It refers to the total expenditures incurred by tourists over the course of his or her day night stays over a specific period of time, like a month or a year. However, it is the most difficult measure to obtain. This is because tourists most generally don't keep track of every spend made in the tourist destination. Hence, the estimates of amounts spent cannot be used to accurately forecast demand. Estimating tourist expenditures can be obtained by multiplying tourist days / nights by the average expenditures done per day or night. The formula for demand expressed in terms of amount spent is demand represents D is equal to number of tourist days / nights multiplied by average expenditure per day or night. So, supply, tourism supply comprises of 4 main categories. These are discussed as follows: natural resources and environment. It constitutes the basic measures of supply. The natural resources that a region has for the use and enjoyment of tourists constitute the tourism supply of that region. These include climate, regional physiography, geography, formations, flora, fauna, water bodies, hills and mountains, cleanliness of the air, other natural beauties and even the supply water for drinking and sanitation. Built environment includes the infrastructure and superstructure put in place for the benefit of tourists and installed in the natural environment of the region. The most basic element of the built environment is the regional infrastructure. This includes all above and below ground developmental construction work, including drains, sewage disposal systems, gas and electricity lines, drainage systems, roads, communication networks and other commercial infrastructure. Tourism superstructure refers to the facilities that support tourists when they visit the area and their activities. These include airports, railways, roads, highways, parking lots, parking, docking facilities, bus stations, hotels, lodges, restaurants, shopping centers, educational entertainment centers, museums, stores, etc. The built environment is the physical supply of tourism. Operating sectors, it is the operating sector of tourism that most commonly perceived by tourists as tourism. The first tourism supply component here is transportation, comprising airlines, shops, buses, taxi, tramways and companies which provide these services. Transportation is an important supply component, as in the tourism people are always travelling. Without transportation, tourists cannot leave home to reach the target tourist destination and unable to enjoy the natural or built environment in the destination. Another critical supply component is the accommodation and food service sectors as tourists need places to stay and place to eat. Another supply component is that of attractions. Without some attractions, people will not undertake the effort, time and expense involved in travel, and consequently there will be little demand for the other related tourism services such as transport, accommodation, food and shopping, etc., hospitality and cultural resources, while the built infrastructure and the superstructures constitute physical elements of supply in the tourist destination. Culture and hospitality constitute the element of social supply. Culture comprises the language, customs, traditions, lifestyles and religions of the host region as well as the work and the leisure habits of the local population. All of these constitute the cultural wealth of the region that result in a supply that can successfully host tourists. Other elements of the supply aspect include the welcoming spirit of the employees of the tourism business and the attitude of locals to residents. Their courtesy, their friendliness, interest and willingness to host the tourist, warmth and friendliness displayed together with their willingness to get better acquainted with tourists. Other sources of cultural supply include arts and crafts of the region, its history, music, dance, shopping, retail offerings and sports activities. Cultural resources can be combined to supply a variety of tourist offering such as sporting events, cultural feats, food, fairs, national festivals and pageants. Matching demand with supply, neither demand nor supply operates in a vacuum. Both these factors are interrelated with each other, and with all these aspects of tourism, the supply being matched with demand. The challenge in tourism is always to provide ample supply to meet anticipated demand, with the supply function being constrained by demand. There are various ways of matching supply with demand, including task analysis, peak and valley analysis. Task analysis, another way of matching supply with demand is through task analysis, whose steps are given below. Identify current demand through transport model and by seasons of the year. For different varieties of tourism activities, for special events occurring in an area, group or tour visitors, family or individual visitors, business visitors, evaluate current supply quantitatively and qualitatively, check whether current supply is adequate to meet demand. This includes checking for natural resources, infrastructure, transportation, hospitality or cultural resources, examining current markets and socio-economic trends. This includes examination of geographic market segmentation, demographic market segmentation, age of population, gender distribution, occupation, income, etc. Pattern of recreation and work psychographic segmentation of the market, travel motivations, interest, hobbies, skills, professional interest, tendency to travel, advertising responsiveness, forecasting tourism demand using computer-based simulations, trend analysis, data analytic methods such as simple or multiple regression, and executive judgment, matching supply with anticipated demand. If supply matches with the demand, no action is necessary. If there is mismatch, then adequate planning and development systems to be put in place, peaks or valleys. The task analysis and formula methods may be used to match supply with the demand in the long term. However, in the short term, fluctuations in demand may be understood in terms of peaks and valley of demands, also collectively called as seasonality. Seasonality of demand for the travel industry must be reduced as much as possible. The situation in supply arising out of changes in demand, if the demand indicates the seasonality and no action is taken to level the demand, then three supply situations can arise. The supply is provided such that peak season demand is fully provided for. The implication here is that tourists coming to the destination during the peak season will be adequately provided for. However, during the off season, the region will suffer from very low levels of occupancy and consequently high losses. If, however, the supply is set at low levels, the facilities during the peak season will be very overcrowded, resulting in poor tourist experiences and low visitor satisfaction. This puts the future of the resort into question. If supply levels fall in the middle of demand levels during the peaks and off seasons, problem of seasonality is mitigated. However, low occupancy will result in low demand seasons with overcrowding occurring in high demand periods, neither of which an optimum situation. In order to maximize customer satisfaction and to ensure that facilities are utilized across the year, adequate steps must be taken to reduce the impact of seasonality. There are two strategies that have been devised to cater to changes in demand and supply. These are multiple uses. It is the supplementing of high demand season attractions with other attractions that create demand for the region even during low demand seasons. In this way, the high demand season for the region gets extended. For example, Michigan, which is primarily a summer destination, developed winter sports, forest tours, salmon fishing, etc., all of which attract tourists even during the winter. Some of the ways to extend the peak season during is through organizing festivals, special celebrations, sports, etc., during the low demand periods. Price differential, the strategy is used to create new markets for the low demand season. Price differentials are leveraged to move demand away from high demand season and towards the low demand season. For example, in Florida, the prices during the off season are much less than during the high demand season. In addition, there are promotional fares offered, discounted tour offerings, all of which help stimulate demand during the off season. Special promotion and marketing techniques and programs are used to highlight the off season attractions of the region. Other strategies to reduce seasonality. In addition to the above strategies, the employment and leisure patterns of target tourists can also be leveraged to level of demand between peak and off season. This includes leveraging staggering of holidays, using 3-day weekends, and splitting of vacations across different seasons of the year to travel demand for travel. Once demand is evened out, the region is able to increase customer satisfaction levels during the peak season as well as during the low demand season. This ensures that facilities are used at a much higher level than previously. Summary: this chapter explored the concepts of demand and supply and indicated how they form the basis of all tourist related activities. Without demand, there can be no tourism. To the extent that a tourist destination is able to stimulate the propensity to travel among the potential visitors and reduce all sources of resistance to travel, tourism demand will not get stimulated. Tourism demand must be matched adequately by supply. In tourism, the concept of supply is related to the infrastructure, attractions and facilities provided to the tourists. This includes supply of natural resources, of the built environment, operating sectors, a level of hospitality and cultural resources. Together, they constitute the supply factors that stimulate tourist demand. However, demand must be adequately matched to the supply. Too much of supply is a sub-optimal utilization and economic loss. Too little supply results in overcrowding and poor tourist visitor experiences. This chapter indicates how demand must be optimally matched with the supply using mathematical formula through task analysis and by peak and valley analysis of seasonality of demand. Dear students, hope you must have understood how demand plays a very important role in influencing the travel behavior. With this, I would like to conclude this presentation. Thank you.